Hello, everyone. Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. It's Saturday. I hope the weekend is going well wherever you're watching or listening. Today's episode around the world. A huge night it is, of course, for England at the Euros. Huge game against Switzerland. Can they find a way to spark themselves into life? Because let's face it, they have stunk this tournament out so far, but they are still there and they've got a chance to qualify for the semi-finals tonight. Granit Xhaka and Switzerland standing in a way. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. Looks like Gareth Southgate is going to change things up. It's going to be a new role for Bukayo Saka to think about and to perform in. So we'll chat about that. We'll look back at last night's football as well. Good night for one Arsenal player, bad night for another. Got some questions and comments from you guys as well. So let's get started, shall we? But we're going to start on the latest on Riccardo Calafiori. Obviously, a big transfer story doing the rounds when it comes to Arsenal at the moment. Can they get this deal over the line for the Bologna defender at the moment? So right in the sort of crucial talk stage at the moment with Bologna trying to get the deal done with the players' side. It's all pretty much done, as you would imagine. You know, all that sort of stuff has gone on behind the scenes and sort of contract is in place for Calafiori, and it won't be any sort of issues if a deal with Bologna can be agreed. But as I reported last time I spoke to you, that deal has not been agreed yet. Yes, Arsenal want the player. Yes, they're trying to sign the player, but nothing is done yet. And until it's done, then he can't come over. He can't sign his contract and the deal can't get over the line. So this is that real sort of crucial stage at the moment of trying to get some sort of agreement reached. Reports in Italy at the moment suggesting that the agent is really working very, very hard in terms of getting Arsenal and Bologna closer together when it comes to that final price. So there has been rumours and reports doing the rounds, which last time again I spoke that it wasn't what I'd heard, that a deal had been agreed. Again, that's just not what I've heard at the moment, and we're still at the stage of both clubs trying to agree on a fee for the defender. My hunch says it will get done, but that is just purely a hunch. That's not based on any information. You know, Arsenal clearly really want to get it over the line. They want to get it done quickly. The longer you wait, the more time you give for other clubs who are interested, and there are other clubs who are interested. We know Chelsea are interested, and when they're lurking in the background, you never know what they're going to do in this kind of transfer scenario. We've been there before. We've seen it with the Mykhailo Mudryk transfer, where it felt like all that January that Arsenal were going to get a deal done. The talks were ongoing. Looked like they were just about to agree a fee with Shakhtar. And when that happened, bang, Chelsea threw themselves into the mix in the way that only they do. And they got the deal over the line by offering Shakhtar more than what Arsenal did. And on better terms than what Arsenal did. So, you know, you cannot rest on your laurels when it comes to getting this deal done. Arsenal have got to try and find an agreement. And those talks are continuing at the moment. Lots of you getting in touch talking about this potential transfer. Brian here says, hi, Charles, with Calafiori coming in, again, don't get too far ahead of yourself there, Brian. It's not done yet. You said, I have a funny feeling that Arteta is going to cash in on Gabriel. His head was turned at the start of last season. That's why he was dropped for the opening games. Arteta has shown he is ruthless, i.e. Ramsdale. What are your thoughts? Yeah, you're not the only person who has said this to me, Brian. All I can say is I just genuinely hope that is not the case. It wouldn't make any sense to me. Yes, Calafiori is clearly a very talented defender, but if he does come in, I see it more as a left-sided defender who, you know, when Ben White inverts, you've basically got three really strong centre-backs playing in that back line. So I don't really see him coming in as a direct replacement for Gabriel. And why would you sell Gabriel? It just doesn't make any sense. Of course, look, if Saudi Arabia come in and they offer some mega deal for Gabriel, which it looked like was going to arrive last summer, but it didn't. You know, all the talks were sort of going on behind the scenes, and Arsenal are well aware of what was going on. And yes, as you said, his head had been turned a little bit, and that's why he was out of the team until the transfer window shut. But he stayed. That bid from Saudi Arabia didn't arrive. If it does this summer, then it would have to be a huge offer to tempt Arsenal into doing business, because why would you want to disrupt things right at the start of a new season when you're so close to winning a title? And Arsenal are so close. They've shown it in the last 2 years. To suddenly, right on the eve of the season, cash in on one of your two-star centre-backs and then have to completely rebuild a new partnership in the heart of your defence, which has been so strong, which has basically been the bedrock of your success in the last couple of years. It just wouldn't make any sense to me. It would have to be a monumental offer to tempt Arsenal into doing business. So, look, I get what you're saying, Brian. And like I said, plenty others have said the same thing to me. I just Really, really hope that it is not the case, and I don't think it will be. I do look at Calafiori, and if this deal does happen, I see him more coming in as that left-sided fullback, if you want to call it, option, but not really playing as your out and out traditional English fullback, shall we say. Here's another couple here, or one from Leon Fire says, I don't think Calafiori means Kivior has to go necessarily. I think in an ideal world with 8 defenders, excluding Tierney and Tavares, Calafiori would be our 8th. Now, granted, it would mean our defensive options would lead heavily towards the left-sided options. So if Kivior wants to leave, then we should definitely let him, but we don't need to if the price isn't right. If Kivior does leave, I think we need another defender, ideally a right-sided player, to make it 8. I mean, it's an interesting point. Leon, I do agree with you. I don't think Arsenal should be giving Kivior away. I think it makes no sense. You know, Arsenal signed him for pretty decent money, about 21 million. They've improved him. He's a better player now than he was when he arrived. He's been solid and shown he can perform in the Premier League. He's still young, still got years left in his contract. You can't be losing money on him. You cannot. It would just send such a bad precedent in a time when Arsenal are already viewed as notoriously bad negotiators and sellers when it comes to transfers. To lose money on Kivior, I wouldn't understand it. It just doesn't make that much. It just doesn't really make sense to me on that one, because he is a better player than he was when he arrived, and Arsenal spent decent money to sign him. But having said that, I still think he's the most likely player to leave if Calafiori does come in, just because the two profiles are so similar. And we know of all the defenders at the moment that Arsenal have, the one who has the most interest in him is Kivior, because there are plenty of Italian clubs who are very keen to get him back and have been trying to get him back for a fair while. So I still think he's the most likely of the lot to go if Calafiori does come in. Right, talking about defenders, William Saliba. I mean, what more can you say about this guy? I mean, look, I thought it was a dreadful game, Portugal, France. I was very relieved that it went to penalties, because when you've sat through a game like that for 120 minutes as a fan, you absolutely deserve to have the drama of penalties at the end of it, just to make up for what's gone on before. It wasn't a great game. It was a game that you kind of predicted was going to play out the way it did. But Saliba again was just absolutely fan. He's the best in the world. And I know that's a big statement, and there are plenty of other good centre backs out there, but there is no other centre back that I would want at Arsenal right now in modern football than William Saliba. He is just the best in the world. I'm convinced of it. He's got everything, absolutely everything. Again, he didn't give Portugal a sniff really when in any sort of one-on-one situations. He was just so dominant. He's so calm. He reads the game so well. The way he moves across the pitch is just fantastic. I cannot wait to see him back at Arsenal. And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to Gabriel. Why would you disrupt that centre-back partnership? I can't wait to see them back playing together again next season. And if they are there in the heart of Arsenal's defence and they stay fit next season, they've got such a great chance of winning this league, because there's just no better centre-back partnership. They work so well together. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. It's amazing though, isn't it? France, no one has got an assist in the Euros yet for France, and they're in the semi-finals. They haven't scored a goal from open play yet in the tournament, and they're in the semi-final. It's quite remarkable. It really is. And then you look at Portugal, and they went 3 games without scoring a goal, and they were only penalty shootout away from the final. There's been some really good countries in this Euros. The big ones, a lot of the big ones just haven't been at it though, and obviously I'll put England into that mix as well. But France are there. They're in the semis. They're going to be playing against Spain, of course. And it could be a fantastic game. We'll wait and see what the other semi-final is going to be later. Not such a great day for Kai Havertz yesterday. Germany going out. I mean, I talk about how bad the France-Portugal game, Germany versus Spain, was everything I was hoping it was going to be. A fantastic match with an amazing ending. Again, I was disappointed it didn't go to penalties. When you get that far in, kind of want it to go to spot kicks, but fair play to Spain. They threw some players forward in that last attack. Marino got up, great header to win it 2-1. Havertz had gone off by that point. Obviously, I mean, Germany, you could see they were absolutely devastated. They put an awful lot into the game. I thought Havertz played well, apart from his finishing. Wasn't great. Obviously, had a couple of chances. The chip on about 5 minutes to go that he put over. I don't think that's a terrible miss. I think, he probably should be scoring that. A top player should be scoring that. But, it's a difficult moment, a difficult chance. I thought he did really well to create the chance for himself. And he just got a little bit too much on it. It was the right finish to try. He just didn't quite execute it properly. And that's it for Germany. So Kai Havertz is going to be coming home, which, for Arsenal is good. He's going to get a bit more of an extended break in the summer, unlike some of the other players at the tournament who are still going, like Saliba, possibly like Saka and Declan Rice. So he'll come back. I imagine he'll get a good large chunk of the US tour now as well, which would be good for the American fans, obviously, with Havertz going over there, and good for Mikel Arteta because he's got such a key player back early doors. I thought he had a decent tournament on the whole, Havertz, but his finishing not the best. He scored twice, both from the penalty spot. He had a lot of other chances that he didn't take advantage of. And yeah, he's certainly going to need to work on that again next season. But he showed last season when he's in form, when he's flying, when he feels comfortable, when he certainly does feel comfortable in his Arsenal setup, he can score plenty of goals. And I do expect him to score plenty of goals next season. But yeah, not the home tournament Germany and Havertz would have been hoping for. They obviously would have loved to got their hands on the trophy. Didn't happen. But yeah, William Saliba marches on. And hopefully Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice and Aaron Ramsdale are going to march on as well. And it's a huge game for England. Like I said at the start of this, they've stunk out this tournament. They've been horrible, absolutely horrible, but they are still there. Thanks to, in part, obviously, to Jude Bellingham in that last-minute overhead kick to take the game to extra time against Slovakia. It looks like Gareth Southgate is going to change things. He's going to go 3 at the back today. So Bukayo Saka is going to be playing as a left wing-back. Do I love that? No. Do I understand it? Yes. And to be honest, I'm actually, as an England fan, I'm quite happy because I couldn't stand another game of just seeing Southgate play the same players in the same formation and hope something was going to change, because it clearly wasn't. They are not in form. It's not working. Nothing was going to change. And Switzerland would have won the game comfortably tonight. I'm absolutely convinced if Southgate had just done what he's done the whole way through the tournament. So I'm glad he's actually changing things. I don't love 3 at the back. I certainly don't love seeing Bukayo Saka playing as a left wing back, but something had to change just to try and change the way England have been playing, to spark them into some sort of life. I like the fact you're going to have Bellingham and Foden playing more centrally together behind Harry Kane. I really wish Trent was going to be playing as a right wing back rather than Kieran Trippier. It looks like it's going to be Trippier. So you're going to have Walker as a right-sided centre-back, John Stones, and then Konza as the left-sided centre-back. Konza's going to have to be well aware that Saka defensively is not going to be the best. So Konza's going to have to cover him a lot. I just hope Saka doesn't have to worry too much about defensive duties and he can get down that left-hand side, can get to the full, can get to the byline, does create a little bit more width for England down that left-hand side. Puts in some good deliveries for Kane to attack, for Bellingham to attack, or some good cutbacks for Foden in and around the edge of the penalty area where he can be so strong. So fingers crossed as an England fan, they can get this job done a little bit later on today. Am I confident? No, because I think Switzerland are a fantastic team at the moment. I think they're a proper team as well. Everything that England aren't at the moment. Yes, England has the individuals, but they've been struggling as a team. It's complete opposite for Switzerland. They've been brilliant as a team. They've got one of the best midfielders in the tournament in Granit Xhaka, playing so well. That matchup between Xhaka and Declan Rice is going to be such a key battle on the pitch as well. So hopefully tomorrow, when I'm sitting right here talking about the football, I can talk about fantastic England win, a performance that has suddenly thrust them into the tournament finally after so many games of being awful. And hopefully Bukayo Saka can have a fantastic performance as well. So can Declan Rice. Okay, moving on to a couple of little bits before we move on to questions and comments. This just looks weird, doesn't it? Vivian Miedema has now signed for Manchester City. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see her there in the Manchester City kit. It just doesn't look right, does it? I hope Jonas Eideveld knows what he's doing. You know, when you let a player as good as Miedema go, then you've got to live by your decision. And I really hope he knows what he's doing, because handing Miedema to Manchester City is a little bit worrying. Yes, I know since the injury she's come back, she's not hit the heights that she hit before that. But whether that was down more to the system Arsenal were playing and what Eideveld was asking for her, I don't know. But we're going to find out pretty soon. And if she gets back to her best for Manchester City, then City are going to be pretty difficult to stop, because she's absolutely fantastic player. And it just does not look right. It's one of those ones, you see that picture as many times as you see it, and next season seeing her in a Manchester City kit, just going to look weird. Like I said, I hope Jonas Eideveld knows what he's doing. This is one we haven't really spoken about in the last couple of days, actually. Mika Biereth, who's very close now to signing on a permanent basis for Sturm Graz. Adventure wannabe here, clearly not a fan of the transfer fee. 4 million it's going to be, which is a club record for Sturm Graz. But as Adventure wannabe says here, Edu is the worst salesman in the history of football. 4 million for Biereth. So it's an interesting one. I was thinking about this, what could Arsenal have got for Mika Biereth? 1 year left in his contract. I do think they probably should have got more than 4. I think you're probably looking at double that. I think would have been a price tag. If I'd have seen 8 million, I'd been, that's a decent deal for him, considering they got him for what they got him for, what he's done. He has never played for Arsenal, obviously. He had a really good loan spell, though, at Sturm Graz, helped them win the league, and they're in the Champions League as well. I do look at 4 million. It feels a little bit low. I don't think it's dreadful business, but I don't think it's not the price that I had in mind. I thought maybe sort of 6 to 8. You know, if you get an 8, I think it's a very good deal. Arsenal will have a big sell-on clause on Biereth as well, so they will protect themselves a little bit. And if he does go on to be a success of Sturm Graz and they get some good money for him when they sell, then Arsenal are going to get a decent chunk on that, and you could probably maybe double your money when it comes to it. But yeah, I'm not sure. I think that's maybe a little bit harsh, Adventure wannabe, in terms of the actual statement. He's the worst salesman in the history of football, but I do agree 4 million just feels a little bit low for me. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Ashwin Gordon here says, hey, CW, hope all is well. All well, thank you. Hope all is well with you. I would personally love to see Ethan in the first team next season. I think it's time to bring him in. He could be the Laman Yamal for us, Ashwin, from, is that South Africa's flag? I can't see it, so small. Yes, well, look, I think he will be in and around the first year. I can't. It's one of the things I'm really looking forward to in pre-season, because I think Ethan will go on the tour. I think he'll get chances to impress over in the US, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how he deals with that. You know, is he going to play like Yamal does for Barcelona, as in pretty much every single game next season? Of course, that's not going to happen. I just don't see it happening at all. But I think this is a season we want to see 15 or so appearances, maybe from Ethan Nwaneri in the first team. Not starts, because I can't see that's going to happen either, but still sort of 15 or so. This is the season to really start embedding him into the first team and starting it off for me. And I think pre-season is going to be really important to that. If he can go to the US, if he can impress and make his mark, then it's going to make it a lot easier for Mikel to use him. Mikel does like him. He wants him to be involved. The first team players really like him, think he's really talented. As Mikel said when he played him against West Ham, the players trust him. They want to give the balls to him because they have that trust in him. So yeah, I'm excited like you are, Ashwin. I think it's going to be a really intriguing part of this season, just how Arsenal do move Ethan Nwaneri into the first team squad. Right, that's it from me, everyone. Thank you very much for watching or listening. Appreciate it. I hope the weekend starts very well for you. I hope you enjoy the football later. Fingers crossed for England. I know all of you obviously aren't watching as England fans, and you're watching from all around the world. But for England, come on, cross your fingers for us. We need to win. We need to get through to the semi-final. Let's finally end this long, long wait for a major international trophy. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.